This is Debbie Farrell for KMOG with a Sunday update of the Backbone Fire. The latest information puts the fire at 24,000 acres, though it is still about a mile and a half from Strawberry. Yesterday afternoon, we received word that the fire wasn't as active as the day before. They had better access to retardant planes, and they were looking at burning a dozer line around the north side of Strawberry last night if the conditions were right. The dozer line north and west of Strawberry was completed on Friday night and staged with hose lays in preparation for burnout when the conditions are right. 3 helicopters, as well as 2 air attack planes, 1 unmanned aerial system, and 2 Super Scooper air tankers have been fighting the fire, along with ground resources. The highest priority right now is protecting Pine and Strawberry, and they are working hard on the east side of the fire as they continue to reinforce the dozer line. Pine and Strawberry remain in evacuation mode. The evacuation center has moved to the high school dome. Large animals still taken to the event center, as well as campers and RVs. Both the town and the county have declared a state of emergency. This will aid us in getting action and recoup expenses accumulated from fighting this fire. The Backbone Fire is the highest priority fire in the nation right now. Highway 260 is closed this side of Pine, though some areas close to Pine are accessible with proof of residency. The fire is still not a threat to the town of Payson. Annie from the Central Arizona Humane Society, our local Humane Society, tells us that the Arizona Humane Society is also set up with the evacuation center now at the high school dome. They have a vet, air conditioning, food, and shelter. Currently, our local facility is at max. Payson Campgrounds has offered showers to first responders and evacuees. And the Houston Mesa Campground is offering free camping to evacuees. That's just up Houston Mesa Road on the left. Common Grounds, in conjunction with Cruisin' Delights, are offering free burritos for first responders and firefighters today. Common Grounds also has gift cards open for the fire crews, first responders, evacuees, and shelter volunteers for a beverage. Those offers are just through today. The gift cards, as long as they last today. 219 South Colcord Road, open till 3 p.m. There is also an open tab at Alfonso's for fire crews, 430 South Beeline. KMOG will keep you informed as we receive more information. Meanwhile, stay tuned to 1420 AM, 103.3 FM, and streaming anywhere in the world at KMOGcountry.com. In your KMOG weather for Sunday, June 20th, today will be mostly sunny, hot, a high of 100, periods of widespread haze and smoke, light and variable winds becoming west, and winds gusting as high as 25 miles per hour. Tonight, mostly clear, breezy, gusty with a low around 67. And Monday, sunny with a high of 96. Tano Basin, Roosevelt Lake area today, highs around 111, with an excessive heat warning through 8 p.m. On the rim, periods of haze and smoke with highs around 90. And in the extended forecast for Payson, mostly sunny, hot, breezy, gusty. Monday's high drops to 97, lowering to 94. Tuesday and Wednesday, back to triple digits on Thursday. Lows dip to 65 through next weekend. And that's your KMOG weather for Room Country in the heart of Arizona.
Well, right now we have 96 degrees. Good afternoon. Mike Farrell here with you, and we have some information for you. Please stay with us right now. We have in our studio Lieutenant Dennis Newman from the Gila County Sheriff's Department and Southwest Incident Team Number 1 Public Information Officer Mike Reichling. Gentlemen, good afternoon.
Hello,
Good afternoon,
Mike.
sir.
And welcome, and thank you so much for coming in here and sharing all this needed information with people. First of all, Officer Newman, I think we're all pretty familiar with you. You've been our local hero for a long time. I'm in it now. The last I remember, you rappelled down on a rope to the crashed helicopter in the, I can't remember the name of that fire right now, but
Polis Mesa Fire.
Polis Mesa Fire, yes. And numerous incidents over the years. You've been a great servant for Gila County and what you've done. Mike, you are the public information officer for the Southwest Incident Team. Can you tell us, for the people who haven't met you yet, a little bit about yourself?
Well, Mike Reichling, I've been here living in Pine for the last 8 years.
Wow.
Retired from the Tempe Fire Department, moved up here, been on with the fire district. And I was on the Highline Fire, did a number of interviews with you during that time.
That's right. Okay, so what is going on that you guys want to tell everybody about?
Well, let's talk about what kind of brought us to this point, that the evacuation and the closure. Let's talk a little bit about that. This we understand because I happened to be over at Camp Verde at one of the fire briefings when this pretty much went from ready, set, go, all in about within a span of an hour. It happened quick, and it was a very fluid situation, and we had to adapt initially with people that were getting prepared to get to leave and evacuate. Then we went right into the go, and they had to leave. Mm-hmm. There were some instances where people were out of town and needed to come back in to get some stuff because they weren't in a position when the go order went to get everything and go. So we had to make some exceptions there to, once we started evacuating and shutting down roads, to allow people to come in and get their stuff. And that was okay initially for the first couple of days to allow that. But now we're going into day 3 of the evacuation, and this kind of falls back to earlier in the year and in fires past, where we talk about ready, set, go, and we preach that we're in our fire season and you need to be ready to go. Okay, now's when people, when they left their homes, they should have taken the medication that they needed. If they had to go back, they should have got their medications then, made arrangements for the animals and all of that. So now, being in day 3, we're making it a harder closure. It's a lot harder for you to now go back when these are things that you should have taken care of Saturday.
Lieutenant, why is that?
Well, because you may not see flames and things like that right at your back door, but the reason that we gave the go order is because, for one, the proximity of the fire and the expected movement that it was going to make. But we filled the roads up with firefighters. You know, that's their main travel. If you want a Stephen King novel material, for one, Pine Strawberry is it. You've got Fossil Creek, you've got Hardscrabble Canyon, you've got Pine Creek Canyon, you've got one road in and one road out, that being State Route 87. Everything that we've discussed about potential fires and plans for evacuation, everybody always looks to Pine and Strawberry as being the poster child for that. That's going to be a tough one. Okay. And so we're living that right now. Fortunately, years past and a lot of the fuel reduction efforts that have been made, dozer lines cut from the Polis Mesa fire that they actually, firefighters started out working with a lot of stuff that had infrastructure that had already been put in, that they're just able to enhance that. So we were started out way ahead of the game, thank God. Mm-hmm. So when we close this stuff down, and we don't want people to be out running around, and it's not a forced evacuation, but if you stay on your property, you're not out roaming around, because we have fire guys out there, fire crews 24/7 running up and down the road. So that's the reason for the evacuation.
Okay, I understand. But one of the things that happened was it took about an hour for most people to get out of Pine Strawberry to get down here to the limits of Payson. I was wondering why possibly you didn't actually block off the northern lane and let people come in 2 lanes all the way down. But now I understand. You had fire people and personnel going the other way, right?
Well, at that particular time, we may not have had the resources on hand to make that happen. That's a great idea, but logistically that takes a lot of people.
Because I can imagine somebody coming out of Florence Springs and then making a turn and going out on the highway, and we've got a head-on collision, right?
Even more traffic coming off of the control road.
So you'd have to post somebody at each of the roads that come into Highway 87. Hard to do. Okay. Well, everybody made it, and it was slow going. but they were able to get out, and that's really important. Yeah. But now that they've gotten out, a lot of people have found out that the ones that are still there and decided to stay, and I guess that's legal, right?
That's correct.
Okay, so if they want to do that, but they have to realize they can't, as you say, go roaming around, and they may not be able to get into town to get prescriptions or anything else. Yeah. So they better have enough food and water. And
yeah, we're still working with people that have animals. They've still got cattle up on the some of the grazing allotments up there. So ranchers are needing to get in there and get some of their cattle rounded up.
Wow.
We're working with those people on a case-by-case basis.
Okay.
Another thing that we're trying to do is get a single point of contact. If you did not evacuate, but you're staying at your place in Pine or Strawberry, and you happen to need medication, we're trying to get a single point of contact where you can call and let them know that you are calling in a prescription, you're getting it filled, you're getting it paid for, and we will go and pick that prescription up. It's the same thing that we've done when Tonto Creek floods on the west side. We pick people's medication up. This is not anything that's new to us. We've used drones to get medication across, the big 6-wheel drive Army vehicles, different things to get people their medications that they need, and we'll do the same thing up here. But this prevents or keeps you from having to be out and about and trying to explain. So
that explains the whole thing.
Yeah.
Because this morning it was kind of frustrating for people because they didn't know what to do.
Right.
Right. But again, it's all happening so fast that there's not protocol and rules set down that people know about. So
information that we were putting out yesterday is not really applicable for today.
Yes, it keeps changing. Okay, Mike Reichling, you're the information officer for the Incident 1 team up there fighting this fire for us. Tell us now, what's going on?
Well, first of all, on behalf of the Southwest Incident Management Team 1, it's a team that came in. It's under the Incident Commander, Alan Sinclair. He's brought in a good probably 60-plus overhead supervisory management individuals to take all these resources, the fire resources, and put them in the proper place for the best effect. So let me go over a little bit of the update for today so everybody knows what we're dealing with. In 2 days, this fire has gone up to 24,198 acres. Started off as a lightning-caused fire down in a little portion of Fossil Creek and quickly grew due to the topography, the dryness of the fuels, and the alignment in those canyons with the winds. So what occurred then was we put 251 firefighters, that includes all of the support personnel on the fire, and we're looking at extreme fire behavior. So what that has caused is there's 3 levels of teams, 3 being the smallest, 2 being the next, and type 1 being the largest. The forest got together and decided that they needed the highest priority put on this fire because of the potential. And that's what we're dealing with Pine and Strawberry. There's a very high potential of that fire burning into the community. So that's why they had air tankers, highest level. We're the number 1 priority in the United States right now for threat and fire resources to come in. So they brought all the aircraft in, 3 very large air tankers. We had a lot of the scoopers that scoop water out of the lakes and put on the fire, along with all the hand crews and helicopters that are working on the ground along with that.
So you've had plenty of water available that you've needed, right?
Well, that is another issue. For the aircraft, they're coming out of different airports around through the region. They're mixing the slurry there and dropping it. The water situation, we're coordinating with local water providers such as the Pine Strawberry Water Improvement District, Portals 4, and so we're coordinating those resources as far as getting water to the firefighters on the ground. So the main thing we have here, the potential is high. and we're doing everything we can. We're putting dozer lines in along the eastern flank of the fire. We're doing back burning operations. Everything that this incident management team brings in as far as knowledge and experience. The Highline fire, they were here for that, and there was managing these resources is a very important thing in a timely manner. So that is what we're here to do. I'm the public information officer. I'm also a Pine Strawberry Fire member, and I live in Pine, so I have been evacuated myself. So I'm taking a direct feel of what's going on for what everybody's feeling and dealing with out there. I'm going through the same thing, but we're here to work together. We hope that our citizens have all the tools necessary for them. Do I have a minute to give some of the information?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
As much time as you want.
Well, the first thing, when the sheriff's office takes the advice and the recommendation from the fire entity or organization agency, they're going to put it out through Everbridge. Carl Melford's our emergency manager, has done a real good job of getting people signed up for Everbridge. You can go to readygila.com. So that's readygila, all one word, .com, and get signed up for that if you're not already signed up for Everbridge. And that's our emergency notification system throughout the county. The other program we have is Ready, Set, Go. You notice we said, okay, go into Ready, then we're going to be in the set, and then we went. So there is real good information on our website through Pine Strawberry Fire District, as well as through the state. And probably better to go to the state, the AZEIN, which is the Arizona Emergency Information Network, and that's run by the state. All 15 counties has adopted this Ready, Set, Go process. So if you go to that to their website, azein.gov, you can get that information. The other that we put out on a daily basis is INCIWeb, so INCIweb.gov.
Right, and we have a link to that on our website, KMOGcountry.com.
And so all of the updates, all of the maps, all of the current information twice a day is updated on that INCI website.
Oh, twice a day? I thought it was only once a day.
No, we're doing twice a day. We had an evening update last night, as well as the new one for this morning. The other is the Facebook. We have a Facebook. If you go on and put Backbone Fire Info, and you'll come up on the Facebook page. We did a community meeting last night. We had over a couple thousand people attending that. That was they were able to ask questions through the chat or through a process through the Facebook Live process. We're going to do a community meeting here in Payson. We're planning at the high school. We're still working out the details, so that'll come out on these updates as well at 5:30 tomorrow night at the auditorium. So that's we're going through the process of setting that up now, but we'll get the information out to you. But we are going to have a live type public information meeting tomorrow night.
That's where people could probably ask questions and things like that.
Ask questions. Right. We'll have all the incident commander will be there with his operations section chiefs, and they can answer all the questions of what they're doing to fight this fire. We're also on Twitter for the fire at Backbone Fire. Okay. So that's that. But we're here to assist the local agencies, utilize all the resources throughout. We've got Hell's Gate, Payson, Water Wheel, all of those firefighters are up in the area of Pine right now. That I just want to say again what I almost called Sergeant Newman. Lieutenant Newman's been promoted. Lieutenant Newman was enforcing that. We have firefighters out 24 hours a day throughout the community of Pine and Strawberry. And if you're out riding your bike and they're out walking along the road, we are very busy. It's a very dangerous situation. So that's why if anybody did stay in their homes in Pine Strawberry, they need to remain on their property and be listening to and getting a hold of any way they can get information through those tools that I just gave to get information to get out as soon as we need them to. Because there's a very good potential still. We're doing everything we can for that fire to get into, especially Strawberry.
Okay, we have a situation here in Rim Country where there are not that many people like there are across the nation that are connected to the internet or have any access to the internet. Constantly we get phone calls saying, well, I'm sorry, I'm retired, I don't have a computer, and they're telling me I can't get information unless I go online or whatever. So I think it's really important that we also have a conduit for information like KMOG. And
Yes,
that
absolutely.
we
And you are a
can
key
get-
player in our response to these emergencies and always have been.
Okay. So, yes, we are trying to, give the information that is necessary as often as it's necessary. And I think it's really great that, again, my experience in the last 30 years living here is that when things first started with our forest fires up here, and I go back to the 90s with the Dude Fire, the Forest Service really wasn't giving a whole lot of information at that time. They were, kind of new to fighting the fire, and, as far as the evacuations were concerned, it was really tough for people to keep up with it. And I remember, we decided to stay on the air 24 hours. I remember evacuation notices for Bonita Creek and places like that coming in at 3 o'clock in the morning. And there was no way people would know, other than when you went, Dennis, you guys went door to door as much as possible, right?
Absolutely.
But that wasn't always, possible. And so we were able to get that information. And it was just, really an experience. And it was only a start of what we have been through since here in Rim Country, and what California and all of the West has been going through because of this terrible drought and the conditions that we have now. I'm kind of interested, how is the incident commander selected that we have? For example,
Very good question.
Who is this? And
Okay, so Alan Sinclair started as a firefighter out on the line like a lot of us have. And we work our way up through these different positions within the incident command system, we call it. The typing, type 6 through 1, or 6 being the smallest, type 1 being the largest. That's how we classify personnel and equipment. And as you get more qualified, you work your way up through these organizations such as incident management teams and police departments and fire departments. So the way Alan Sinclair became an incident commander is he's filled a lot of the positions that he is commanding now in order to get the experience to make decisions, to guide his staff to make the right call to put the resources where they need to be. I want to make a comment about the PIO. The Public Information Officer was kind of a use as needed type of a program. When I started 35, almost 40 years ago now, we didn't really have dedicated public information people. Now it is a profession within the incident command system, and all of the organizations, fire, police, health, all those organizations have public information officers that are trained to deal with information going out to the public. It's the number one or the top listed position within the incident command system under the incident commander. So public information is one of the first things that the incident commander has as far as a tool to get information out to the public. It's one of the highest priorities on any incident is getting information out to the people.
I'm glad, because that keeps panic down and under control. When people don't know what's going on, and they can't get an answer, that's when they get scared. We have a caller. Go ahead, caller. You're on.
Yeah, how you doing? I was just wondering, is there any kind of problem going from Payson on 260 to, say, Woods Canyon Lake?
Absolutely not. 260 east from Payson to Sholo, it's completely wide open. It's just the stretch of, because sometimes when you say 260, that's the stretch of road everybody thinks. But 260 west is up on top of the rim and goes to Camp Verde. That is the part of 260 that is closed from 87 over to the Camp Verde side, completely shut down.
Okay, all I want to do is get to Woods Canyon Lake.
You're good. You're good to go. Enjoy. Catch a fish for me.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. And, it's important because that's the only way to get to Flagstaff would be to, well, not the only way, but who wants to go to Phoenix and then go all the way to Flagstaff? But you can go up to Holbrook on 260 and get on 40. And it's pretty quick to get over to Flagstaff, which a lot of people have to do. Good afternoon, KMOG. You're on.
Yes, sir. It seems like everything kind of getting turned around again. My wife, we live here in Pine. The post office is maybe 2 minutes down the road. She went down there, and there's a sign on the door, if we need our mail, we have to go to Payson. Is the sheriff aware of this? That
Well, sir, we can't control what the post office puts on their door.
Okay,
Is
no.
there?
Sir, let me finish.
Okay, go ahead.
If we go to Payson and get our mail, can we come back up to Pine?
Well, my question is there anything that's going to be in that mail that you're going to go get that you absolutely have to have right now?
I don't know. Insurance bills. I know my Blue Shield Blue Cross is going to be coming up. Insurance on one of my trucks is going to be coming up. My wife has bills from Banner Health. So I would say that's important. We have bills. This is no different than anybody sitting in your studio.
Well, you sort of have a dispensation and a good excuse for not paying them.
No. I'll tell you what. I'll let you talk to Blue Shield Blue Cross and you can explain it to them.
Yeah. Why don't you give us another couple of days? If you can hold out, we may be able to address that. But, as of right now, that's just one more car and more people that are out on the road, and that's kind of why we're here. We're asking if you guys can shelter in place, hunker down, live with the supplies that you've got on hand. Please do that.
Yes, sir, I understand that, but I didn't know if the sheriff was available. I know you cannot control the post office. That's a federal, just like the Forest Service. That's federal. You guys have no control over either one of those. I'm just making you aware that here in Pine, which one of those gentlemen says he lives here, you can no longer mail or pick up your mail at the Pine post office.
Okay, I'm making a note of that as we speak, sir. And we'll see what we can do to address that. But if you can give us a little bit of time, see if we can get that worked out, we may be able to work something out where maybe we can get a mail truck to come from Payson and drive up there and stock the post office. I don't know. I'm not making any promises. I'm just letting you know I'm making a note, and I will look into it.
I know you've got bigger fish to fry. This may seem minor to you, but then again, you're not sitting here in our shoes, the people in Pine. But
yes,
thank
sir.
you for your patience. Bye.
Okay. And, that's just another one of the situations that may be resolved depending on what happens with this fire. So everything is really changing all the time. And, we're just going to have to be patient. There's certain things that just aren't going to happen because of that.
And while we're talking about that, Mike, I would really like to commend everybody for as fast as this went in the short amount of time that everybody had to get ready for this. The cooperation and the orderly movement. I can't think of anything that I recall, because I was there right from the get-go. We didn't have any issues. We didn't have any fights. No shots fired. Everybody was compliant. I don't know what the number of people are that evacuated or stayed. I don't have any of those numbers. But initially, when we gave everybody the order to go, they were moving on like Hank Snow.
How much notice did people get on this particular thing? I mean, from the point where it was ready to where it was go? Couldn't have been too long.
Lieutenant Tim Scott and I went over to the meeting over in Camp Verde, and we were sitting in his truck, and we both were staring at our phones, and we got the information that Pine and Strawberry was in set, and then probably 15-20 minutes later, we got the word that Strawberry was in go. And so we're starting to put that information out. Then we ran into somebody else from one of the fire crews that said, no, we need to evacuate Pine also. So I would say that within an hour from when we started getting all of this information, it happened that quick.
And that was Friday afternoon.
Yes, sir.
And I know we got notification here. We were kind of disappointed that the Sheriff's Department didn't contact us on this. We found out on Facebook about the evacuation and got it on the air as soon as we could, right before 4 o'clock. And one of the things I did, I went and turned on Channel 5 in Phoenix, and they were given the weather for Pine Strawberry called it Pine Top. And I'm going, what? They didn't even mention it. And then all of a sudden, they, about 15 minutes later, a guy came in. He said, I'm going to just read this. It came from the Gila County Sheriff's Department. They are evacuating Pine Straw. It's like the word really didn't get out, I don't think, really fast enough to the media. But my goodness, you had your hands full. I understand that.
We did, yeah. And all of the people that we called on, our posse folks, search and rescue, all of those people were out and knocking on doors, talking to people, hanging the blue or white tape, depending on whether you were going to stay or not. So, yeah, it went fast and furious.
Okay, we got a caller. Go ahead, call. Oh, they couldn't hold on, I guess. All right, we'll be right back. Maybe in just a second. Hang on. Go ahead, guys. I got a little problem here with something.
Well, what I'd like to do is just kind of talk about the Ready, Set, Go program, if you got just a minute.
Sure.
This is a program that was adopted, like I said before, by all 15 sheriffs. And it's a national program. It's put out by the International Association of Fire Chiefs. We have it at the state level, down through each one of the counties. And what it does is it gives you information about what you should be doing to be ready. We should be ready in a 24/7 state at all times. So the ready state is we don't put people in ready. You should be ready to go at a moment's notice, no matter where you're at or what time of day, all year round. So when we go to set, that is when you start taking your ready, what you've prepared to do. There's checklists on materials to put together, to take with you, clothing, medications, what to take with your pets, and everything in case you do go into the go status, which you're sitting and ready, and then you go to set. Set is where you're listening to the media, and then we pop the question, or we pop the evacuation order through the sheriff's office, and that's where the go comes in. So that is a excellent area to get information for.
Yeah, being signed up for that emergency notice, I think, going to Gila County, and then going to the, what is it called, Everbridge?
Yeah, it's readygila.com.
Okay. We have a caller. Go ahead, caller. You're on.
Hi, this is Billy Snyder, and I'm in Pine, a new resident in Pine. You there?
Yeah. Hi, Billy. We hear you.
Awesome, guys. I'm just curious on there's a lot of people that have evacuated. Now, some of us are worried about looters. Have you guys covered that issue or that topic at all?
Yes.
I know when I left, there was a lot of sheriff deputies and police officers around, and I just hope that they're, maybe, just driving around and keeping the peace.
Yes, absolutely. That's we, as the incident management team, our security manager coordinates that with the local sheriff, which we have in Pine. We've brought in additional law enforcement officers from other counties, as well as Game and Fish, and we will be manning those checkpoints, as well as driving all through the communities. And that's why it concerns me, the people who have stayed, if they're out going to the store and roaming around, we don't know if those people are just going to the store or they're going into homes and taking what it should not be taken, and it's not theirs. So it's a very thought out process. The plan for law enforcement to go through the communities is very set, and it was actually put in place at the very beginning of the evacuation. So rest assured, we are keeping a real close eye throughout the community with the sheriff's department and the other organizations that come in to support the fire.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I would think that no one being allowed past the checkpoint, there's no way that the thieves could get up there, and they can't come in from the other way either.
Well,
right?
I know a lot of the young people who've grown up in Pine. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of ways in the Pine and Strawberry that bypass these checkpoints, and as Dennis probably knows, there are people who can get in that community without going through the main roads. So that's why we're patrolling the neighborhoods with the sheriff's office and the other law enforcement agencies to keep an eye out for that.
Good. Good. I'm glad to hear that because, it's really adding something terrible to a terrible situation already, when these people do stuff like that. It's just unthinkable, but it does happen. Hello, you're on, caller. You're on with the guys. Go ahead.
All right, thanks. Hey, I have a question for what was just mentioned about people driving around wanting to get to the store, as I'm one of the few that have stayed up here. Yes, law enforcement is pulling them over and telling them to go home, but they're assuming these people are out there breaking into the vacant homes. And I know in Pine, there's probably 4,000 vacant homes every winter. Why now? I mean, just because people evacuated?
Well, yeah, when we pulled the trigger to order the evacuation, yeah, it certainly is our responsibility of the sheriff's office to go back and patrol that. So it's really no different than any other time of year when we're not always up there, and because we're in other parts of the county, but we're there now, and that also makes it easier when people are not out just arbitrarily driving around because they want to go see smoke, that and we stop and talk to them and explain to them that if they're not going to evacuate, they need to stay home. It falls back on us because when we ask you to leave your home, we don't just evacuate too. We go back and backfill.
Well, I'm curious because the market's open, okay? If the market's open, people are going to run over there and get their supplies. Obviously, some of them weren't prepared to handle, a few days or maybe a week of this evacuation thing. But if the market's open, I mean, I guess courtesy would be, get your supplies, go home, stay there. Rather than telling them, you're not supposed to be out driving around and you need to get home and stay there. And that's happened. I've already heard from a couple people that said they were kind of abrupt with them.
Okay, well, that could be maybe because that's the 50th person that they've talked to out driving around. I'm not making any excuses. I don't know. I'm not there. But one of the reasons, and we've had this discussion earlier today, is about what is essential and what is not. And Uncle Tom's has been open right all the way through the evacuation for several reasons. First off, we needed a place to be able to fuel up a lot of the fire trucks that had no other place to go. Also, Pine Ice has a state contract for providing ice for all of the fires around the state. So they needed to be there. There wasn't really a whole lot of discussion about those people staying open and helping us out.
As far as like Uncle Tom's, I can understand the Pine Ice is still operating because they have to supply the ice. I know they supply Gatorade also to these fires. But as far as fuel, all these firemen that come in from out of state all have company credit cards, state credit cards, whatever they're using, and those machines work off credit cards. So the gas pumps don't need to be, there doesn't need to be anybody there to run the gas pumps, put it that way.
Okay.
I just, it's kind of an oxymoron. The county sends out ready, set, go all in about 2 hours, and you caught a lot of people off guard, especially the ones that are staying. And then to be abrupt with them about, I needed to go to the store and pick up some milk because I don't have any milk at home or I don't have any eggs. I just think is, obviously you can tell somebody that lives here and somebody's out cruising around trying to break into somewhere, but...
Well, we've got agencies from other counties. Coconino County, they probably sent down about 8 to 10 of their deputies to help us with this. So, no, to answer that part of your question is, you got a deputy from another county, yeah, you may not know who lives there. But, again, as I talked about early on, we knew that this was going quick. This went late Friday afternoon. We were doing evacuations in the dark. So, yeah, that's why I say we gave Saturday for people that had issues that they didn't get this in time. They happened to be out of town when they got this notification. They're coming up from the valley, doing different things. I talked to one guy who'd been on vacation in Costa Rica and just got back last night. So there's somebody we had to work with to get to their property and get their stuff, and we're doing that. We're doing it on a case-by-case basis. We just can't give a blanket, if you need anything, you can go to your house. No, that's not the case. But just give us a call, talk to us, and we'll work with you.
All right. And also, I'd like to know about these hotels, because I've not only heard it from 2 or 3 people now, it's actually been posted out there on the internet, but the price gouging of the hotels and motels in Payson. Do you know Budget Inn has a room for $245?
No.
That's ridiculous.
Okay.
Well,
I don't know if the town's going to follow up with that or not.
I don't think there's anything the sheriff's department or the town or the fire department can do about that.
Well, I'm sure the town can, because there's regulations out there about price gouging. They do that when they evacuate. All of a sudden your $5 case of water goes up to $15. There is things about price gouging out there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, to be honest, this is the first I've heard of that, but this is going out over the airwaves, so I'm sure there's a lot of ears that are hearing this for the first time, and maybe that information might fall on the right set of ears.
Oh, yeah, you get on Facebook and Payson, and there's probably 105 comments already been made on it.
Okay.
So, anyways, I appreciate it. Thanks.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, and it brings up a good point, Lieutenant. He used to be a sergeant.
Yes, he did.
Lieutenant, and how many extra people has the sheriff's department put on? You say you're getting help from Coconino?
That's correct. Yeah,
Okay.
We've got Sheriff Driscoll from Coconino County. As soon as this happened, we were getting information from him that whatever it is that you need, we'll support you, and they did. I mean, it was raining not only their deputies that they pulled in, but their search and rescue people showed up in strength. There was probably about 30 of those folks. They brought their side-by-sides, which is a whole lot easier running around, going from house to house. Our search and rescue was there. I bet easily we probably had 60 people running around up there Friday night.
So you probably have made allotments for people in other places of the county and the Globe area and everything else to get over here, right?
As far as help?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's good to know. Hello, caller. You're on. Go ahead.
Hello, Mike. I just wanted to relate to the last caller. I have friends that were evacuated from Pine and went to the Knights Inn for a 2-bed, 1-room, 3 people, $300.
Wow.
She paid. She had to pay. And so anyway, I do believe, remembering there is I believe a federal law against that during a crisis. I think it began from Katrina, and I believe it's a federal law for people to overcharge during an emergency crisis. I believe it's a law, if I remember right. But anyway, that's about all I got to say. It's terrible. Oh, and on my way, I talked to this one woman, and I said, "What is with all this? My friends paid $300. She was coming out, and she goes, "Oh, they did that to the evacuees, and that because it was like the last rooms left in town." And I go, "Well, that's not a good reason." And then I said, "Wait a minute. That's actually the worst reason to increase your prices." And that's about all I got to say, Mike.
Okay. Well, I think your comment is well deserved. As far as the law is concerned, that's something we're going to have to look into. But Go ahead, Mike.
Well, one of the things that we do at the county level is set up emergency shelters. There's an emergency shelter set up at the Payson High School. It was at the middle school. Last night they moved over to the dome, which is larger, more hot water things. Salvation Army is providing food. So if people are having an issue with place to stay, they can go to the high school, and the Red Cross shelter is open for them.
And on top of that, the Houston Mesa Campground offered free, any evacuees to be able to stay there free or in the horse camp across the street. And they probably filled up. I'm not really sure about the situation, but I think that's great. And, the motels in this town should have done the same thing. I mean, my goodness, why make it just a few bucks because of a tragedy like this? They could make themselves $1 million worth of goodwill just by providing, accommodations for the people who were evacuated.
Certainly, because this is only going to last a week or so, however long it lasts. But then there's all the rest of the year.
They have to live the rest of their life,
with long memories to go.
Who's
hey,
going to
I
do
remember
business
that
with
hotel.
them?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
As far as I'm concerned, if that's what budget is doing, I'll never send anybody there again. Yeah.
The PSA that Debbie was putting out earlier, when I was listening to it, there was a ton of good information in there. She did a fine job of getting information gathered in that, and I actually learned a couple of things.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll be right back.
It's wildfire season in Arizona, and every year at APS, we work with first responders and communities to help keep everyone safe. For example, power lines may be taken out of service to protect firefighters. Then APS crews will visually inspect lines before restoring power. These precautions may lead to longer outages, so we'd like to thank you in advance for your patience. Together, we can all stay safe during wildfire season. Learn more at aps.com/wildfire safety.
Skip the towel and blast away.
What?
It's new at Bubbles on Bonita in 4 bays now. The latest in drying a car. Simply wash with a high-pressure soap and rinse. Apply Clear Coat Sealer Protectant. Rinse with spot-free rinse. And then, holding the auto-dry hose firmly. Dry from top to bottom. Wow, it's incredible. Blows out every nook and cranny and leaves it shiny dry.
Bubbles on Bonita Car Wash, west of Beeline on Bonita. Open 24 hours, convenient, and guaranteed to blow you away.
Okay, and we're going to go back. I think we have someone holding on the line. Hello, KMOG. Oh, no, we don't. Okay, the line's open, 474-2427, and you can give us a call. And thank you. Again, I've got to thank you so much, Public Information Officer Mike Reichling, for being here and helping give us this information on the fire. Is there anything new to report? And Lieutenant Newman, for all your information, thank you so much for being here. Is there anything new? We're at, 24,000 acres at the last?
And that was as of the infrared flight is last night. I just want to say again that the team and the resources have been brought in by the team, doing an outstanding job of getting those lines established along the eastern flank of the fire to protect Strawberry and Pine, and they're putting every effort that we have available to us to keep that fire from coming into the community.
That makes sense. Hello, you're on KMOG.
Good afternoon. Can you repeat those numbers for those internet connections to be able to get?
Well, the first one I'd like to put out is the NC Web. If you go to that NC Web for this incident, the Backbone fire, all of what I've given you is on there. But if you don't have a computer and such, you can call the call-in line, and they could walk you through and give you the information. It's 928-362-4088. And I believe KMOG's going to put that on their website too. But if you don't have a computer, we understand. Some people do not. But if you call that, they will be able to get you the information.
Does that answer your question? Do you need more?
No. The one that was something
Hello. I'm sorry, you're fading on.
The one that had Gila in it.
Oh, okay. That's the evacuation information, so it's our emergency notification system. That's called Everbridge, and it's at readygila.com. So all one word, ready, READYGILA.com.
That's That's what I'm looking for.
Okay. Very good, sir.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
All right. So, yeah, that is really good. I think a lot of people in this particular emergency found out that they weren't registered on that and were not notified. So it's going, well, why wasn't I notified? Well, because you have to let them know your address. And one of the things I noticed about that is that you're not notified anything unless it affects your address. So it's sort of like the computer decides who needs to be notified, right?
What Carl Melford and his staff does up there, they actually kind of draw a circle around the whole area, and the notification goes out to everybody within that area. So it's a very good system.
Yes, it really is. Hello, you're on KMOG.
Yes, I just got on your station right now, and you might have already answered this question, but at the emergency shelters, are they taking precautions with the COVID?
To my understanding, yes. We're following the COVID guidelines from the CDC. There's social distancing within the shelter. There, sanitation stations and all that are set up.
Okay, great. I'm sorry, I just didn't know if you had discussed that before, but I know it's horrible with the fire, but we're also still dealing with a little COVID, so thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay. And, yeah, that's a good question. I would imagine, putting a bunch of people together in the same location like that, you got to worry about that. KMOG, go ahead. You're on.
Hi. We were wondering, is there a place where you can donate water to the firefighters who are actually taking care of the fire, or are they taken care of? Or?
Well, we are very well taken. Our logistics section of the team has truckloads of Gatorade and water and food. We pretty much take care of the firefighters that way. I think the majority of those donations probably goes to the evacuees more than what the firefighters need right now, and law enforcement. We take care of our own, but at the same time, we really appreciate all the offers of those types of donations.
All right. Thank you very much. Have a blessed day.
You too. Bye-bye. People want to do something to thank the firefighters. I understand that. Maybe we could arrange. Back in the day, we used to be able to bake pies, take them out there on the front lines to people. Can't do that stuff anymore.
Yeah,
Signs.
Maybe when this is all over with, we could get the firefighters all together for an appreciation dinner or something. That'd be great. But a lot of them come from
all over the country,
all over the United States, right? So they're in a move to get to the next fire.
Yeah. The best thing, what we like, and the firefighters give us feedback all the time. Thank you signs up along the community,
right,
and that really means a lot to them. That they're away from their homes. It's Father's Day. Everybody's away from their families. Yes,
that's true. All right, so keep that in mind. It sounds like a real simple thing, and it is. But get those signs out there along the road, out in front of your house. Thank you, firefighters. That's the best way to do it right now. And pray. We've been saying that all the way through this thing. Plan B right now is pray, because it's not raining. The wind's not cooperating. The challenge is there. What else can you do if you want to help? One of the things is pray for the firefighters. Let's hope so far no one has been injured or killed in this particular fire, and that is extremely important. It's such a dangerous job. Really. Hi, you're on KMOG. Go ahead.
Yeah, good afternoon, Mike. My name is Roger Grant from Pine. I heard you talking about hotels, motels. The Quality Inn here in Payson not only gave me a reasonable rate because I was from Pine. They knocked $5 off the rate. So all of them aren't gouging.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
They're a good outfit,
Yep.
And people are going to remember that kind of thing, I think.
Yeah. And the rooms, they're not bad. They're pretty good rooms.
It's a great hotel.
And the rate was a lot under $100, I can tell you that.
Right, okay.
So, all righty.
Thank you so much for adding that, because I like to hear something positive about, the businesses here in town. Most of them have been cooperating, helping any way they can for the evacuees, and that is so important.
And to go back to the day of the notification, Everbridge, I know we've been talking about that for a long time, and that's what we went to first. And that's what makes it such a priority to have people sign up for that, because if that's the first place we're putting information out and you're not signed up for it, you're starting out already behind the curve.
Mm-hmm.
And you can sign up for it online. You can there's a form that you can fill out and submit. You can get it to where it will call your telephone if you're one of the few people that still have a landline. You can have it call that number, you can have it call your cell phone, you can receive a text, or you can receive an email. So there's a number of ways. You don't have to be at your house at the time of an evacuation. A lot of people, again, were down in the valley,
right?
But through their smartphones, they were able to receive the phone call, the text, and the email, letting them know what was going on.
Another thing that's really helped, I think, is since back again when the early fires were hitting here and we started having this problem, our phone was ringing off the hook 24 hours a day with people from the valley who had second homes up here. Where's the fire now? What's going on? That kind of thing. So being able to stream our station when you're in the valley and you have a home up here, at least you can keep track of what's going on a whole lot better now than you used to be, Other than before that, there was no way that you could hear us. But now, anywhere in the world, you can keep up with that just by going to KMOGcountry.com. For us, that has been a godsend. I think it really is great. Hi, you're on with the firefighters. What do you got going?
Hi, I just was curious about the Everbridge. I had it a long time ago, and somehow it left my phone, and now I try to redo it, and I'm having a hard time getting it to work. So it said to text, that it would text me, and then I did the code, and then I can't figure out what to type in. You have to type something in for it to know your area besides your address. So I'm not sure what we're supposed to choose in order to get any updates on that fire.
Well, if you could contact the Gila Emergency Management Office, the Gila County Emergency Management Office, and I would have to look up that number, but Carl Melfer's our emergency manager. I have it up on my phone right now, and if you go to that gilaready.com, it has a menu in there to where you can do a search. So if you want to go into that, then go ahead and try it, because I've got it up on my phone. So.
Okay, when I typed in Gila County, it said like Pima and Gila County, but then it's still not giving me any information or updates. Is it only going to send you an emergency thing, or is it going to update you on the fire?
My best understanding of how Carl uses that is anytime a law enforcement or fire agency needs to get information out, we contact him, he puts it in the system, and that's how it gets generated out to you.
Yeah, whatever I've got in there, it didn't work for like the evacuees or anything from my address, but just in Payson. But still, I figured the county, whatever I chose for the Gila County, it would have said something. Just because we are in Payson, and if something does change, it'd be nice to make sure that's working.
No, I know in the past when you go to the Gila County website, you go to the health department, and I just got handed a number that you can call, and they can help you. Okay, you ready?
No, let me grab a pen. I gotta go in the other room.
I think they go by zip code, don't they?
Not necessarily. They actually
they
can draw a circle around the whole area in multiple zip codes to get information.
Yeah, the zip code didn't necessarily work either.
Okay. Well, here's the number. It was just handed to me. So it's 928-910-4009.
Okay, I was trying to get it on my mom's phone too, and I was having the same problem with her, so I want to make sure we get it done.
So call that number, and it's option 3, and somebody should be able to help you, okay?
Thank you so much, you guys be safe.
Oh, it says, so you could leave them a message, and then they'll call you back. So somebody should be able to help you there, okay?
Okay, sounds good. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Boy, that's good to know, with having that number. That is very handy, because I'm sure she's not the only one that's going through that. All right, we're all out of time. Again, Lieutenant Newman and Mike Reichling, the information officer for the incident number one team fighting this fire. It's so great of you guys to stop in here and share all
thanks for
this
the opportunity to
information.
share.
All right, and we are dedicated to making sure we get that on the rest of the afternoon. If anything changes, we will get that and continue to have the information on our website, KMOGcountry.com. And if not, we'll try to get it to you over the phone. But I think we pretty much straightened out that situation that everybody was confused about whether they could, go get the prescriptions and that kind of thing. Lieutenant, I think that basically you can't move around out there, and it's if you have to, I think finally the answer that you had was that if it's a special situation, if you give the Sheriff's Department a call, they'll try to help however they can, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, well, we're here to help out as much as we can. Keep in mind, we've still got the rest of the county that we're responsible for.
Okay,
so.
what if somebody living in the Pine area right now has a heart attack?
Oh, we're upstaffed with firefighters, paramedics. We actually brought an ambulance up from Payson, AMR ambulance. So we are fully. It's 911 is just like it has been.
Okay, so we call 911.
We have
and
dedicated.
You're gonna get some help,
just Absolutely. Like it every other day. So
you
we
guys are doing a great
business.
job. Thank you so much.
You're listening to KMOG Payson and translator K277BX Star Valley.